So I have a plan, and that plan is to reach an amount of £1 million in investments by the time I retire. And the way I'm going to achieve that is to invest just £1 every single day automatically until I reach that million. And here's the thing. For the last 5 months, I have been doing exactly that, investing £1 a day into one specific ETF, and so far, all of the maths has worked out, and it turns out that I'm on track to reach £1 million and a bit sooner than I thought. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the method behind this long-term investing challenge. I'll take you through which ETF I'm investing in and why. I'll show you how I've set up my platform so it invests £1 for me automatically each day, and also how I don't have to deposit any money to achieve this because of my passive dividend income. And lastly, I'll take you through the returns and profits of my investment in the first 5 months and the maths showing how at this rate I am on track to hit £1 million by the time I retire, all from just £1 a day. Don't forget to subscribe, and let's get started. On the 1st of June this year, I came up with an investing plan. You see, I've been making videos on investing for years. I have 22 investments in my portfolio, and each have various purposes, but I wanted to show what would happen if I followed all of the conventional rules and invested in the most responsible way possible, using all of the best and risk-averse methods to create long-term wealth. And I'll tell you all those rules in a bit. But in that process, I stumbled upon something that could very possibly make me a millionaire by the time I retire. Now, this isn't glamorous. The amounts you'll see won't be huge yet, and the ETF I'm investing in won't show 10x growth in a year. But honestly, it just seems to work. So, the conventional investing wisdom is typically 4 pillars. One is to diversify, to not put all your eggs in one basket, to make sure our investments are spread between companies, sectors, risk types, and regions across the world, so this one ETF will follow all that. 2 is invest for the long term. Warren Buffett said if you aren't willing to own a stock for 10 years, don't even think about owning it for 10 minutes. This investment we're looking to hold until retirement or £1 million, whichever comes first. 3 is the dollar cost average. This means to invest regularly, so you're reducing your risk and averaging out your purchase price, and investing £1 a day is definitely a good way to dollar or pound cost average. 4, to reinvest your dividends. This ETF automatically reinvests dividends, and that's so we can benefit from even better compound growth. So those are the 4 pillars of conventional investing wisdom, and I needed to find an investment that met those 4 criteria. And after a lot of searching, researching, and narrowing it down, I eventually determined the one investment which I would be using in this challenge, and that was the Vanguard All World ETF with accrual, or its ticker symbol VWRA. First of all, it has great diversification. This ETF contains currently 3,655 of the biggest companies in the world. When it comes to sectors, its holdings are across 11 major sectors such as technology, financials, consumer discretionary, industrials, healthcare, and a few others you can see here. Then different regions of the world. This fund invests in North America, Europe, emerging markets, and the Pacific region. Now, when you look by percentage, the USA is a large portion at 62% because, frankly, that's where most of the growth has been for decades. But you also have Japan, the United Kingdom, China, and a few others. So you also benefit from all the best companies in the world. Plus, this fund is an accumulating fund, which means the dividends get automatically accrued or simply reinvested into the ETF to meet our criteria. So, we have diversification, we have reinvesting dividends, we are holding it for the long term, and for the last 5 months we have been investing £1 automatically into this ETF every single day to make sure we are fully pound cost averaging. To do that, I use the custom pie feature on my platform Trading212, and you can set up an automatic investment on a custom pie, even if it has just one stock, to make sure it's investing £1 every single day. That way it's automatic and I don't have to think about it or even remember that it's there. It will just continue to invest for me in the background. Now, I also have a £14,000 stock portfolio in my stocks and shares ISA that pays me around £685 a year in passive income. So technically, I could just leave the portfolio for the rest of my life and the passive income would just fund my £1 a day investing and I would not have to touch it again until I retire. So that's the preamble to where we are now, but I'm sure you're really curious about the results so far and how this will reach £1 million. So let's get to the returns and the future growth calculations. But just before that, I've decided that the sponsor of today's video will be the subscribe button. For a super low cost of free, you can click the single button down below and get access to tons of zero cost videos and information to improve your financial standing in life, whether it's day-to-day finance, how to budget your payday, tutorials for different money platforms, cryptocurrencies and ISAs, how to utilize your tax-free savings, or how to grow your wealth and passive income through investing. You can never do with enough information, so I personally would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to the channel. We're at 30,000 people so far, and I'd really like to get to 100,000 so I can get that YouTube plaque thing. So subscribe now, and I'll see you for free in the other videos. Okay, back to the returns. Now, the thing about investing £1 a day is it's super easy, it's a very low amount, and it means that almost anybody can do it, and it won't break the bank or really be noticeable in your back pocket. The beauty of this method is low admin, low cost, but the power of it is in the compounded growth over time and over the years. So, as of today, I've been investing for 5 months, and that means since starting, I have invested £151, much smaller than my £14,000 portfolio. But even with that being said, over 5 months, with dollar cost averaging, I have made a total profit of 9.92%, or just nearly double digits. So as you can see, that is £151 invested and a return of £14.98. And maybe that sounds like a lot and maybe it doesn't, but I think it's a really great return for 5 months. However, let's do the maths and extrapolate that out to see if it's even possible to use this method or £1 a day to reach £1 million. And this is where it gets interesting. Now, the maths on this is actually incredibly complex because we're calculating the returns of 151 individual investments combined over 5 months to get a daily return rate, which gets applied then over a period of time with additional £1 investments to get to £1 million. So naturally, I used AI to run the calculations, and this is the prompt I used. The results are that if I continued with the same investment strategy and I received the exact same returns that I have gotten already up to today, then the time it would take for me to reach £1 million with this investment would be a total of 15.3 years. So that's it. In total, that would mean that by investing £1 a day, I could become a millionaire in just about 16 years, well before retirement age. But in honesty, we also have to look at the reality here as well, because right now, as you may know, the stock market has had some incredible growth in the last 6 months, and many analysts are saying the market is possibly overinflated right now, especially because the Buffett indicator, which measures the value of the USA market compared to its total gross domestic product, is at the highest level it's ever been. So simply put, probably a bit overinflated and due for a correction at this point. What that means is that a 10% growth over 5 months or 24% a year is almost certainly not sustainable for 16 years straight. And when I first did the calculations when I started in June, I used the last 5 years growth rate, and the calculations based on that gave me a time period of 43 years to reach £1 million. So, am I on track to reach £1 million right now? Technically, yes. But in reality, it will probably take much longer to get there, if I get there at all. Because as you know, investment values can go up as well as down. But based on all the data I have, it is likely that this investment could reach £1 million in my lifetime and potentially before I retire. But obviously no one knows the future, and we have no idea what the world and the markets will look like 5, 10, 20 or more years in the future. But what I do know is that I'm personally very happy with this investment. I'm happy with the results I've gotten so far, and I know that no matter how well the markets do going forward, I will continue to invest this £1 a day for the long term. Whether the markets go up or down, because regardless of how high it goes or how large or small the return, I know I'm doing the right thing for my financial future to put away this money and invest it in a responsible way. So guys, that is it for today's video, showing you my £1 a day investment and how I have structured it with a goal to reach £1 million by the time I retire. If you want to see how this investment goes over time or to watch any of my other videos on personal finance, investing and growing your wealth, please be sure to subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions below, and I'll see you guys next time, as always, on Casual Cash. Cheers.